Hey there and welcome, it's Micah Mitchell with Memberium. In this video I'm going to show you how to use OptimizePress with Memberium, and in this case OptimizePress 2.0. So first off, once you've installed OptimizePress, the same stuff still applies as far as Memberium goes. You can make membership levels, you can set up the basic options, and when you go to a page you'll see the same content protection box over here. What I've done here is I just made a regular page and I put in a bunch of shortcodes. And I just wanted to show you this page is not much different. It's actually the home page that I've got set up here. It's not going to act much different than any other WordPress site where you might put Memberium. So here's my home page. It's going to render the shortcodes. In this case, I'm logged in as Silver. It gives me a logout link, says you don't have access to free, you don't have access to gold, but you do have access to Silver. The same type of content on an OptimizePress template is here. So again, it's, welcome back Silver, here's your logout, you don't have, you do have, you don't have. And this one here, all I did is in OptimizePress or in WordPress as an administrator, I went in and using the OptimizePress page builder, I built a page, I picked a template, and I just put the shortcodes into a text block. So these shortcodes do work in regular text blocks. They do work in headers, and so if I came up here and I edited this, and instead of your, I simply said mem contact fields equals first name. So I'd say first name's membership resources. And I could go down and insert that, and I could hit save and continue. And here in my test browser, I'll refresh. And the name of this person is actually Silver. That's why it says welcome back Silver. But basically Silver's membership resources, and I got the wrong quote and that sort of thing. But as far as the way these work together, that's the real basic level. It's that the shortcodes still can work within the page templates of OptimizePress. Now, if you do something like, let's say, add a button, I'll show you one of those. So here I'm using another OptimizePress page template, and I've got a button here. There's a couple things I can do related to buttons. So the first thing is I can make it so that when a button is clicked, we can run, for example, an action set. And the way that I do that, if you click edit, and this does work for any OptimizePress button, but it's actually the link. So instead of a regular hyperlink, I put in the shortcode memb action link, which actually does create a hyperlink, but it creates a link that on its way will run this action set inside of Infusionsoft. So if I look at, for example, the gold guy, and I've got a couple browsers open here, I've done the same thing for the gold guy, okay? So here's the gold guy. And here I think is the gold guy's record. So we'll refresh him so you can see his tags for a second. So here he is. He's only got the gold member tag. I come over here and I click the button. And I'm going to come back over here and refresh our gold member. And because the action set ran, you can see he's got another tag. And I just called the action set the same thing as the shortcode. If I actually go over to action sets, you can see that's just an action set that I used to apply a tag so that we could see it. So that was the gold page, and again, the way it worked is when I go to this edit, I'm just putting in the ID of the action set inside Infusionsoft that I want it to run. So I use the mem action link shortcode, action IDs equals, and you can separate them by commas and run more than one. This shortcode, by the way, and most of these shortcodes, if you go to the Memberium site and you type that in, so here I have memberium.com, shortcodes, memb action link. You'll see that there are other parameters as well. So I'm using the real basic example with no parameters, and therefore it's defaulting when I click it back to the home page. So when I actually clicked it, it just sent me back to my little home page. But I could have very easily set a redirect so that when I clicked it, I went to a specific page. But along the way, you can run action IDs, you can run follow-up sequences, you can run campaign builder goals directly, you can set tags. You can also remove tags by putting a minus in front of any of those IDs. So for example, if I take these tag IDs and I go back into my page and I add that as a parameter here, so tag IDs equals, and then I could put tags. I could say add tag 1, 2, 3, 4, and I could say take away tag 3, 2, 1. So add 1, 2, 3, not 4, and take away 3, 2, 1. And I'll go ahead to insert and update that, but that gives you the idea. With the button, that's one of the layers, is that you can actually control, okay, when they click the button, let's run some actions inside of Infusionsoft. Now, just below this, I put an image, and I'll show you what that looks like. There's a couple ways I could have done this. I could have put an image in with HTML or whatever, but I just used the regular OptimizePress image, and I put it in. Let's say I wanted to show this image only to certain people. I'll go ahead and exit out of it. The way that that works is instead of going to Edit, go to the Settings here, and you can see in the settings I've inserted a shortcode. So in the settings you've got these advanced options. I went and I used a different Memberium shortcode. I've got memb has any tag, so I'm saying if you don't have tag 632, we're not going to show you this image. Instead, otherwise, we're going to show you this text. And that was just kind of an example. You don't have to even have an else statement. You could just do it this way and say show it to them if they have it, otherwise don't. And this is the same case. This mem has any tag. You can take any of these and you can go to our site and you can check them out. But what this shortcode does normally is it shows content to users who have those tags. So if you can imagine it, we're just wrapping the image. We're saying show it to people between these two, and they actually put the image in here because it's code before element, code after element. And it is that way for a couple other things in here. So I'm going to close out of that. That's how you would show or hide an image. But it's actually the same way for videos. You've got code before element, code after element. It's even the same for buttons. I believe on the silver page right here, we put a big old button. And so here again, I could click edit to change whatever the button's going to do, but I can click settings to put a shortcode before and after. So in this case, I used another Memberium shortcode called mem has credit card. And the purpose of this shortcode here, because it's a one-click upsell, I wanted to make sure they've actually got a card on file before they click it. But if they do click it, I believe I did set up an action set for it. I'll scroll down. You can see here again I use the action link shortcode. And again, I could do other things. I could say redirect, and I could send them to a particular thank you page or whatever. But this action set right here, if I go back to Infusionsoft in this example of a one-click upsell, so I was 3342, I'll go ahead and click edit. And you can see here what I was doing is I was upgrading from silver to gold, so I gave them the gold member tag. And then I also ran this post. And this is a post that you can find in your Memberium options. So if I go to the Memberium basic options here, I might have it open somewhere, maybe not. But anyways, at the bottom of this, it'll give you an example. Here is an update contact example. That's the one we want. So this is an HTTP post that we can run whenever we want to update a contact. In this case, they made a one-click upsell, which means on the back end in Infusion, there's stuff happening, right? We're changing their tags. In this case, for example, we're adding the gold tag. So we want to push an update to the site so that this person can immediately have access to those gold resources. Now, in the case of the one-click upsell, obviously you could go do all the other stuff you'd normally do, like create an order, and then you can go in and add items to the order by hitting save. So the rest of this, there's other videos that cover that as far as how to add an order through an action set to make the one-click upsell happen, but that's the connection between OptimizePress and Memberium. It's the fact that you can wrap all their elements in shortcodes, and you can also use shortcodes as the destination for some of the buttons. A couple other layers to this. Right now I'm in the page builder of, for example, the free membership page. If I hit save and close to get out of OptimizePress, the content protection is still here, just like any other page. So on the base level, you say, well, who should even have access to come into this page? And you can set up those settings just like you would any other Memberium site. But then once someone has arrived on the page, once you've decided who does get in, then within the live editor you can play with the content. And so we showed based on membership level or based on credit card status, showing buttons, showing images. Like I said, you can go into videos and some of the other things. I'll point out that in this example I made this page kind of a catch-all. So if I log out, I think it actually might take me to a login page. Yeah, and on this login page, I didn't use a big OptimizePress fancy theme, but I did put in the login shortcode. And then I can get myself logged back in, right? And when I log in, all the same stuff applies. It should send me, in this case, I'm logging in as silver. So it should probably send me the silver resources. Yep, how to use your silver membership. And then if I were to click this, it's going to run that action set, which in this case just tags us the memb action link one that I was using. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm sure I've missed a few things, so go ahead and submit a ticket through support if you want to know how to do anything else. But hopefully it'll give you a start on how to use OptimizePress with Memberium. Thanks.